All right, good afternoon, everybody. So this week's already started out interestingly in our now, I don't know what word, I'd like to call it post-COVID world, but apparently that's not true. We're still battling through this. So this class is kind of an odd course. We have people that are on campus, off campus, um, and so unfortunately, all of my on-campus students are affected in some way by COVID. So I'm going to write some videos, and it's okay because what I was intending to do as a hybrid was to record and talk about what we were going to do. So this course also has less material that you're going to do directly because of the class. All right, I guess I should say there's less material to do inside of Cengage and different things because you are doing a semester long project. So I'll talk about that here in just a second. I have the syllabus popped up here. So anything important, most of it's boilerplate. You guys have heard me say these things, 100 times. So my location, but really the biggest thing here, my email address is the quickest way to get a hold of me almost always. I'm working on ways to try to expand my office hours, but there's some contractual reasons why we list those. I'm also willing to do virtual hours, so and in fact in this class that becomes kind of important. I know a lot of people work during the day, so we'll probably be doing some things in the evening. I have children spread across a 100-mile distance between them going to school, so sometimes we have to work around each other's schedules, and we will certainly come up with some methodologies to do that. All right, so obviously we meet on campus, but for most of you, it's an online course. You do need this textbook. It is available as a Cengage Unlimited, and that's probably the cheapest way, especially if you have any other course using Cengage. It's kind of like the Netflix of textbooks. Office 365 for all students now is available, but honestly in here we probably need word processor more than anything. Depending on how your project goes, you may have other things you want to do. Microsoft Project, there are tools that we can do, my Project Libre, Visio, Expression Studio, all kinds of other different software that you may want to utilize to bring your project to fruition. Um, so I was using Skype. Skype seems to work okay. We've now got Zoom account. Zoom works also. So really, I wouldn't encourage you if you don't have a webcam already to get one. Most people do. We are going to do a lot of web conferencing. If you're on campus and you want to come in and do them, that's certainly fine also. Or even if you want to come into class and do that. So most people, you will need some kind of webcam. It doesn't have to be the super heavy duty, $1,000 auto tracking camera for this particular course. So what you're really going to do is you're going to propose and execute a systems related project. So we are going to have so we have less class time and less class work in some ways, but you're going to have some more one-on-one time. And so that's kind of how we schedule this. So you're going to have to come up with an idea, a project, and we'll get into some more details on that. But that's really where the course lands. So final project will be due the Friday of Dead Week, just so we know kind of where we're at. You are going to probably put some significant time in on your project. At the end, instead of a comprehensive exam, we do an interview that goes over your project, and we talk about that. So if you are on our campus currently right this minute, we do have a mask restriction in place. I like recording now in my office or other places. If I record in class and I'm wearing a mask, I will apologize if I'm chewing on the mask a little bit. So there are some discussion boards. There are some other pieces in class, some small projects we're going to do. These are some boilerplate about attendance. I will try to rein people in if I don't see them very often. So only in extreme emergencies will late work be accepted. Now, this class again is a little different because you're also working with an external entity, and sometimes their scheduling will also affect our scheduling a little bit. Grade appeal, course evals. So at the end, you can always tell me about your course, what you liked, what you didn't like, what worked for you, what we could do different or better. And I'm always looking for those. Disability services on campus and tutoring. This class is kind of a weird one because it's generally taken at the last semester, and our peer tutoring is probably non-existent for this one. I will admit that, but the writing services and the labs over there are certainly available. This one's a little harder. Don't cheat. Since you're all doing your own project, that one's a little easier to deal with. Equal opportunity. So make sure that if we're not treating everybody equally, let us know. If you see it from other course mates towards, another course mate or you or somebody else, let us know, and we'll try to figure out how we can make the situation as great as possible. All right, your schedule. So some of this is kind of tentative because we may change, external events certainly do, and I still don't know what's going to happen in this whole, now we're in the Omicron variant. So be prepared for some changes. It's kind of like getting on the airplane where you wear your seats. In the average student, this course is designed to take about 140 hours altogether. Sometimes this course, because it is that individual challenge and we do require you to do some stuff off campus, it may take you significantly more time than our typical 135, 140 hours. I will warn you, it's an upper division 495 level class. We are going to push you a little bit in there. So your syllabus that we looked at is hosed. It's housed here. Words are hard sometimes. Here's our textbook. And the textbook, if I go from this link, we'll present everything inside of Cengage. And we don't necessarily do every piece of Cengage. Well, it should at some point. So the other fun thing is Cengage has a new model of distributing content to link it back to Blackboard. Our Blackboard isn't updated to the level that they want, but we're also looking at going away from Blackboard possibly. So I apologize if you end up with any weird things, and I will try to correct those. Normally it's been popping in, but it may also be mid-afternoon internet is deciding to be. There it goes. Well, I thought it was. I have a weird issue for my office, and it has nothing to do with what you're going to see externally, but occasionally I get super filtered, and that's probably one of those cases. So inside of week one, so week one is kind of our start off. It's a little slow on purpose to kind of get everybody in the same thing. So there is an assignment at the end of chapter 1, not appendix A, but chapter 1. If you'll please answer those review questions at the end of the chapter, just put them in a Word document and then submit them into this assignment link. Here are some PowerPoints, and we'll try to go over some pieces of that. But for most of these courses, this is really going to be a review as much as we can. So I have some other things in here. So the RMO video, I encourage you to look at. And the chapter 1 or the chapter A for, so it's kind of an appendix piece. So we look at what is systems analysis. So so I edited a PowerPoint down just a little bit about what I was typically going to go over on Monday, and then we've had interesting debacles. So I will come back in and do some pieces for this. If you read the material first, it's generally a little easier. So if you will read chapter 1, there are not a ton of assignments for chapter 1. There is a quiz over chapter 1, and then this week 1 assignment that kind of forces you also to read. The other piece I need this week is the discussion board. I need you to introduce yourself to me, and there is a introduction discussion board here also. So couple of different pieces there. So not a huge amount this first week as we kind of get planning, but I will be sending out some tool. I haven't decided which one we're going to use yet, to figure out some scheduling and some time so that we can do some one-on-one and some back and forth about what your project is. So what I would encourage you to do is look at week 2. And week 2 says this is kind of your foundation. This is where we select your project. And so one of the things is we're going to try to identify a small business, small organization. Nonprofits are great. You want smaller rather than a huge organization. So 3 to 5 employees kind of size. Otherwise, you're going to get bogged down in a lot of minutia on this project. So I encourage you to look ahead at this. If you have questions, that's kind of where we can use that one-on-one, and we can go back and forth, or do it via email or a chat system of some sort. Is this company appropriate? What can I change and what can I do? So I encourage you to look ahead at that, because that's going to be your assignment for next week. But if you have questions about what organization makes sense, I love the idea of using nonprofits. The nonprofits give me the thought that we are helping out an organization. I also like small business, because that's what in most cases we're trying to figure out a way to assist them. So one way to do is put this in your lens of whatever organization you select, and hopefully they're willing to work with you. So you will need to contact them and make sure, but pretend or put yourself in that lens of, I have been hired as a consultant to this company to improve their efficiency through technology. And that's kind of that lens that we're going to use. So that's our overarching project. So there's not a huge horrible piece here. Again, if you guys have questions this first week, send me an email. That's typically the easiest way to do that. And again, that's bgriffin@peru.edu. You can leave me a voicemail on my phone, which is listed in there, but it typically takes it about 2 days for the voicemail to actually arrive at me via our email and weirdness. So typically the fastest way, if you want to get a hold of me, is with that email. It goes right to my phone, right to my watch. I kind of have an Apple obsession, so it'll eventually wind its way even then to my desktop PC. All right, thank you guys, and I appreciate your patience as we begin a little slower than we sometimes normally would. And hopefully everything is going to go smoothly this year. All right, I probably just cursed all of us for the rest of this semester. All right, thank you, and have a great afternoon or evening or whatever it is when you take a look at this.